This is what happens when you're having way too much fun listening to 80s music. I got carried away with my crimper, but I'm loving it. I was gonna try to like smooth down these little pieces that are sticking out, and I'm like, no, we're gonna own it. We're gonna roll with it 80s style. I hope you all are doing well. Tomorrow, I'm filming this Friday afternoon. Tomorrow we are going out on the boat, and the boat with everybody crunching and munching is a trigger for me. I had someone leave me a comment and they said, really, what's the big deal? It's not that hard to stop eating. And I was like, maybe for you, but there are people like me where it is. It's a struggle. I always have a good chuckle when people come on thinking they have all the answers, they've got it all figured out, what they think what works for them should work for everybody else. Sorry to tell you, those people, it doesn't work like that. And that's ignorant to think like that. To say, just stop eating. It's so easy. No, it's not. It's not, because if you've created bad habits your whole life, to break that cycle is tough. And it is doable 100%, but it takes time. It's like when you do anything new, it's like baby steps. So you've got to re-educate your brain on what's good to eat, what's bad to eat. You've got to try eliminating foods that make you feel bad, and then all of a sudden it's like, oh, you start to feel good. It's amazing. And let's just face it, a lot of the food in the grocery store, GMO, all the pastas and breads and gluten and all the stuff that's broken down, added preservatives, all these additives, things we don't need. For people with food sensitivities, it can be very, very toxic to our bodies. A lot of the American food is created for profit and convenience, and that's not healthy for us. So try to do organic, you cut all the processed foods out of your diet, all the bread and sugars. It's life-changing. It is. Now, I'm on the autoimmune protocol diet, AIP, and I will say it's not necessarily convenient. It's not necessarily cheap or inexpensive. You have to look at it as an investment in yourself and your health and your well-being. And when you look at it in terms of that way, it's so worth it. It really is. Am I perfect on AIP? Heck to the no. I wish I could say yes. Sometimes I go to the grocery store and what I'm looking for, they're completely out of, or all they have is regular GMO vegetables that have pesticides and junk on them. And sometimes I'll buy those and I come home and I just wash them really good. But I'll tell you what, I can taste it. It's terrible. There is a huge difference eating organic and non-organic. You can just tell, but it's so much healthier for you. Now, realizing what your triggers are is the first step in being successful. And like I said, when we go out on the boat and everybody's munching and crunching on things that I can't have, I just sit there and I'm like, it gets to me. Again, I know some people may not understand this if they're thin and fit and they've got fast metabolisms. For those of us that don't have that genetic makeup, so anyway, I wish it was that easy to have a fast metabolism. Oh, life would be wonderful. But creating good habits so that you don't blow it is huge. It's huge. So tomorrow, I'm going guns a-blazing. I am going with my AIP compliant snacks, and I will be able to crunch like everybody else. Yes, I will. I am planning to make myself some plantain chips with some artichoke dip, and it's gonna be all mine. If you've never had plantain chips, they're delicious. They're crunchy, they're salty, and you can make yourself a batch of guacamole. You can make some AIP artichoke dip, and then you can just simply dip and enjoy yourself like everyone else. So what I'm gonna do is go over there to the oven, set it at 375 degrees. I'm gonna slice these bad boys up. I'm going to get some parchment paper and a cookie sheet, line it with the parchment paper. I'm gonna slice these up, put them in a bowl. Then I'm gonna take, I think, either coconut oil or olive oil, I haven't decided, with some pink salt, maybe a little garlic powder. I've not tried that. The last time I made a batch, I just did pink salt, and they were delicious. Maybe I'll add some herbs just to jazz it up. Let's see what I do. I cut the ends off and then I just score it and then peel it back. So I will tell you, they are a pain in the you-know-what to peel, but it's worth it in the end. Anyone have a good way to peel these? I am not good at this. This is gonna take me a half an hour. I'm kidding. Ta-da! Peeled and ready to slice. Side note, you wanna slice these as thin as you can. I have made the mistake of thinking, oh, I'll go chunky. They're much better the thinner you get them. And they cook a lot faster and more evenly. So I put the plantains, actually I'm gonna put these in. I'm gonna put them in this little dish, and then I'm gonna add 2 tablespoons avocado oil and I think a half a teaspoon salt and a squeeze of lime. So that's what they look like. Now let's add the avocado oil. 2 tablespoons avocado oil. I'm gonna go in with a half a teaspoon garlic powder. And now you want to go in with a half a teaspoon to a teaspoon of salt, depending on your preference. I'm going to do a half a teaspoon because I'd rather add it later if I have to. Don't want them too salty. And now we're gonna go in with some lime. We're just gonna squeeze it over the top. I'm just gonna get in there with my hands and make sure everything gets coated really good. It's this simple, you guys. And then we're gonna bake on top of the parchment paper on the cookie sheet for approximately 15 to 20 minutes. And then we're gonna let them cool, and then we'll have some crunchy, salty chips. I feel like these need just a splash more of avocado oil. I wanna make sure they're all coated really well. So I'm just gonna do a quick drizzle. And then we'll get them on the baking sheet. I might need 2 baking sheets. I just wanna make sure they have their space. I want to make sure each plantain is hanging out in their own little space. Alrighty, these plantains are ready for the oven. See you back in 15. They're getting close to being done, and I saw one that was turning into a crispy critter, so I took it out. I want to try it. That's good. The last time I made these was with coconut oil. That gives it a nice flavor, especially with the lime. And now I'm gonna go whip together some artichoke dip. I've never made it before. I'm just gonna wing it. I'm not even gonna look for a recipe. I'm just gonna throw it into my blender, and with a wing and a prayer that it turns out. The timer just went off, so let's go check it out. Yep, they're done. Get a pot holder. Okay, let's let them cool. Check out these chips. Good. Made some quick artichoke dip. Oh. That is good. These two are stuck together. I love crunchy things. And now, when I go on the boat tomorrow, I can take a little bit of this and a little bit of that and enjoy like everybody else. By doing this, I am setting myself up for success. So I don't feel like I'm missing out. I'm not sitting there going, I wish I could have some of that. I'll have my own, and life is good. By the way, I whipped this up really fast. I did not even cook my spinach. I just put 2 cans of artichokes in my blender with like a huge handful of spinach. I added olive oil, salt, and a little sprinkle of garlic powder. It's delish. All right, guys, that will wrap up my video. I hope you have a wonderful weekend. I'm sorry my video came out so late this week. My decorating channel just takes all my time, so it's really hard to squeeze one of these videos in. It's much harder than I expected, but I realize it's probably more important than the decorating channel, so I need to make time. But anyway, I hope you guys are all doing well. Have a fabulous weekend, and I will see you next week. Mwah! I'm gonna go listen to some more, 80s music.
Watching every sunrise.